There we go.
Hello.
Hey, am I doing it right?
You're doing it right. Look at you.
Great.
Thank you so much for taking time to do this.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's a busy schedule these days,
Well,
Had to really push things around, but
well, it's good to see you.
yeah,
Why don't
likewise.
you start off by telling us who you are, where you are, and what you do?
I'm Owen. I play as half of a duo called Driftwood Soldier, we're based out of West Philly. I'm the half of the duo that plays the mandolin and sings and plays the suitcase and the license plate. And the other half of the duo uh, takes care of the bass guitar and the jangler.
Excellent. Succinct description. I appreciate it. And how have you been passing the time while we're all stuck at home?
Um, well, I mean, you've been to my house, and so you've seen that it's a work in progress. So working from home for me, in this case, mostly means working on my home. I just go downstairs and rip things out of the first floor most days, and um, some of them, you know, um, some of the other things that I do for work are all on hold, and I'm spending actually less time on the computer, which is a nice alternative because I mean, I do all the booking and a lot of the management for our project. So I spend a lot of time normally in the course of things emailing people endlessly, and so that's all real quiet. So mostly I just work on the house every day and figure out um, where we're going to get food next, and that keeps me
Yeah.
busy.
Are you are you has the time working on the house been more productive? Are you hampered at all by the weirdness of the situation, or are you able to take advantage of the additional time?
Um, well, I mean, it's actually kind of what I do anyway. I often am doing you know this kind of construction work, and um, so in some ways my life hasn't changed radically. The biggest difference is not being um, yeah, it's just having an empty calendar for music um, in the foreseeable future, which is disconcerting. And
Yeah.
um, and that I can't say that that's fully sunk in yet. Um, the other day, maybe 3 or 4 days ago, I just had this feeling of like, why the hell haven't I played a show in the last, 4 weeks? Um, and I have a feeling that sensation is going to get more persistent um, and um, more frustrating. But so far, it's been kind of abstract.
Yeah. I want to talk for a moment about this. I don't know if that
I've
is it
seen that
backwards on
before.
Instagram. It is.
It is.
Tell us a little bit about this. How long has it been out now? This came out last fall.
Yeah, it came out in October, um, and that's actually probably some. That's the album that we just put out, "Stay Ahead of the Wolf," um, and it came out in October, and we were on the road most of the fall supporting it, and um, that's I think part of why this has just hit us at an interesting, well, at a sort of a lull in our activity anyway, which is why it's taken a couple weeks to sort of realize. Um, I mean, we were supposed to go to South by Southwest, which was canceled, um,
Mhm.
but and so that was a big disruption in our plans. But otherwise, you know, um, we didn't have we didn't have any real touring on the books until the summer. Um, so, but yeah, it's because of just where it was in relation to that album release. That album was a big lift for us. We put it out on our own label, Trash Cat Records. So we did all the aspects of it, um, and um, and this was sort of catching us on the taking a quick breather after releasing that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and now it just feels like it's a breather of unknown length. You but the album is um, still the best thing that I've ever made.
It's
So
so good.
highly encouraged.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. Um, are you getting to listen to much music? You usually listen digitally, right? When you're working at
Yeah,
home?
yeah. I have all of until my house is more finished. I don't have a any other. I don't have a better listening setup. Um, I have been listening to a lot of music. Just while I work, I, I've been listening to a lot of New Orleans brass music, which is sort of one of my first loves, and is um, is feel good music for me because it's feel good music um, that comes from um, centuries of reckoning with uh, the very bad things um, in the world. So it's feel good music that doesn't feel for some reason to me like putting your head in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but pretty much anything with a trumpet will do it for me these days. Um, and then one of my all-time favorite musicians is Fiona Apple. So for the last couple of days, I've been listening to her new album, um, which was exciting. I knew it was coming, and then I managed to forget that it was coming, and then I got to be excited all over again when it was released. I love Fiona Apple. She's she's an incredible musician.
Yeah,
Um,
that's come up a few times today in my chats with people, and I was saying that I haven't heard not a word of negative feedback on that album. Everyone
hmm.
loves it.
Well, when you spend whatever she did 8 years on it, um, you get time to work out some of those kinks. But
Yeah, it's bound to
yeah,
be
I
a
mean,
masterpiece.
and it's also just something that's there's no point in criticizing something that's so clearly of that person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to me, it's there's you know there's a you, you can have favorite songs or you can not even like listening to the whole thing, but when somebody's making something that really um, reflects their own creativity and their own idiosyncrasies quite so specifically, it's not like I'm going to be like, yeah, it could have used a little bit more bass on this, or it's just a feels kind of um,
More able to appreciate it for what it is.
it just feels kind of arbitrary to criticize
Um,
it. Like, what the hell do I know about it? But
I
that's
think that's
often my
probably true of
attitude these
anything,
days.
really. Um, have you done any sort of live streaming performing? Have you been recording anything? Is there anything you've been able to do creatively while this is going on?
We've been working on some recordings. We've got a little setup and system going on here between we both have little home studio setups. So we've been trading back and forth some new music, but we haven't done any of the live streaming, um, and it's basically on account of me being a Neanderthal and unable to really figure it all out, and not wanting to. Speaking of having my head in the sand, I I really like playing for people in person, and I know that that's a you know that it's not an either or, but um, haven't really wrapped my mind around the live stream stuff as far as how it would change what that experience of playing music for people is, or what my experience of playing music for people means to me. I'm sure we'll do it, and probably should figure it out soon. But I just there's something about it that's very unappealing to me, and I'm having trouble adjusting um, to the idea, because it makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways. You know, it makes a lot of sense not having to be on the road as much, even um, moving forward, um, getting to reach people who are all, you know, who like, we don't get to California, and we never tour as far out west as California, and we have people in California who have found our music and would like to, you know, some version of seeing us live. And I might just be you know, um, already outdated, but I, I haven't, it's, yeah, it's not a format that speaks to me. And so it's taking a little bit of effort for me to have um, to sort of reckon with figuring out how we want to do it. We will do it eventually, though, because I don't think there's a lot of um, other options for um, how to offer people some version of that live experience during the next 6 months or a year, or
Right.
however long you're going.
I've been interested to see how people are approaching it and finding things that work for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone's setup is different. Everyone's level of comfort with the tools that are available to them is different. Everybody's logistical, like the equipment they have, is different. So some people
Mm-hmm.
have a studio at home and can use an actual microphone that gets plugged into their computer. I don't know how any of this works, but some people
Mm-hmm.
are, you know, trying to connect using just a cell phone. Um, so trying to find what works for you with what tools you have is, it's been interesting to watch people work that out over the last month or so. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it'll
and
be an interesting
it's a
thing to look
new,
back on.
you know, it's just a new way that people are, um, it's a new format, it's a new tool, so everybody's deploying it differently. Um, and I don't have like, it's entirely just, um, it's it's just me. It's just my own personal hangups, really. Um, I really like being um, in a small space with people whose faces I can see, and and know how to interact with. That's what I've been doing for years as a musician, um, and something that I'm used to and familiar with. And I'm just being a reactionary and don't want to do something new. I like what I do, but I'll figure it out eventually. I'll come around, because there's not a lot of options for us out there. Otherwise, I mean, some version of it. There's lots, infinite ways to make it your own, and I think, you know, people are doing cool, innovative things with that. But I just haven't gotten there yet.
Have you watched anybody else's live streams? Has there been anything that has popped up that wouldn't have happened but for these circumstances that you've been able to watch?
I haven't. No, I've been doing a terrible job of it. I've just been hiding. You know,
I don't
um,
think there's any
I
wrong
got
answers in any of this.
I got invited. A friend is putting on a, a, a digital open mic night this week, um, and he sent out the sign up sheet and all this thing. I, you know, haven't been to an open mic. I haven't performed at an open mic in many years, but but I was thinking I might see if I could uh, test run some sophisticated format like this with a cell phone um, and join it. I just yeah I love. I think it's more that I love the format of playing uh, intimate shows for people so much that and it's just hard for me to not see it as a replacement for that, or as an attempted replacement for that, even when I understand that they're all that it's all complementary in the end, and the more ways that people can connect around music, the better. Um, but
I think the idea of a virtual open mic being a way for you to not only test out new music like you would with a regular open mic, but test out ways of doing this is fascinating to me. You
yeah,
know,
I'll
that it
go
would serve that
incognito.
purpose in a totally different way.
I'll wear my bandana, go incognito.
um, let's see, what else? What are you most looking forward to doing when all of this is behind us and you can move freely again?
The easy answer is just playing shows for people. Um, the live performances is a lot of what I love about being a musician, um, and um, you know, maybe I'll have become an expert live streamer by then, but um, but I'll be happy to just be able to go out um, and be part of live music, and go see live music too. Um, I miss that. Um, that's all I'm looking forward to, and it, um, I'll have to figure out the um, how to get enough of those similar experience in the meantime to keep me going.
Yeah. To wrap up here, can you tell us how we can find out more information about you, about the band, and how we can best sort of support you now and moving forward into whatever the future might look like?
Yeah, Driftwood Soldier, driftwoodsoldier.com, um, on all the the familiar platforms. We got Instagram, obviously, but you know, um, we got videos up on YouTube, not live videos, but um, pre-recorded live streams, we'll call them. Um, and the best way to support us these days probably is to buy that album that you mentioned, Stay Ahead of the Wolf, and a great way to do that, if or to I mean, you can listen to it on it's on Spotify and everywhere else. Sending it to people as a present on Bandcamp is really the best way that you can support us, because it obviously helps us to have the album sale, and it also helps us to get the music in other people's ears. It's a strange particular thing that we do, mandolin-based gutter folk music, and people. The benefit of that is that you can never tell who's going to like it. It may not be your standard folk music lover might hate it, and you know, your cousin who only listens to hip hop and metal might actually find something that they like. So sending it as a present to folks. We also might have we put in I put in an application for a grant for a collective songwriting project that we'll be posting about if it comes through. Um, that would be a cool project that will involve some amount of participation, and so keeping an eye on our social media, mostly Instagram probably, is a great way to keep up. And obviously when I figure out the live streams, that's probably where there'll be notice of them too.
So everybody
But
should follow you in the meantime so that they'll
yeah,
notice when that stuff happens. And
follow us in the
definitely,
meantime so that the anticipation can build while I finally work my way around to joining the rest of 2020 and connecting with people digitally.
yeah, definitely recommend buying the record. And I think it's a great suggestion to send it to a friend as a gift. I've really been enjoying this. I have it on CD, so I listen to it most often in the car, and I haven't been driving much. So I brought it inside so I can listen to it on my CD player. And I appreciate you taking some time to talk to me, Owen. It's good to see you,
Thanks
even
so
if
much
it's
for
this way and not in person.
it's true. It is good to talk to people like this too. That's also been a slow learning curve for me. But I appreciate you taking the time out and doing these series. Yeah, a lot of great music folks on here. We're also you had Fred on here earlier, and I think we're probably putting something together for his commission project.
Good.
But yeah, you got a lot of great folks coming
Yeah,
through here.
Fred
Thanks
is
for
the
doing it.
first person. Sure. In 5 weeks of doing this, Fred is the only person I've talked to that I don't actually know in real life. So it was fun to nerd out with him a little bit because he gets to do work that is stuff that I follow and admire. And it was really cool to hear about that. For anybody who's listening right now, the final one of these today will be coming up at 4:00 with Stu Bond, right across the river from me in Columbia, Pennsylvania, in Lancaster County. He's a musician and also a chef, and is soon going to be doing some home delivery food options. So we've
Hopefully
heard
with
from a
singing
lot of
telegrams too.
maybe I'm going to suggest that. I'll pass that along.
Okay.
But every Sunday until we're allowed to leave the house again, I'll be doing this on the hour all day Sunday. And thank you so much, Owen, for being a part of it, and enjoy the rest of your day.
It was my pleasure. Yeah. Talk to you soon.
Okay, take care.